and I'm going to show you how very quickly. First and foremost, you're going to want to become a member. And you can become a member at 2 different levels. You can become a member at the shout out level, which is our $1.99 or $2 tier, and then you can become a member at what we call the foamy homie tier, which is at $3.99 or $4, depending upon where you join. So I'm going to show you how you join on YouTube. All you got to do is simply go to join right here, and then you can pick one of the 2 tiers, the foamed up or the foamy homie tier. And again, the foamy homie tier will give you access to everything. Just simply click on that and join and follow the instructions from there, and then you'll get access to our members posts that we place over in the post section, where you'll get access to members content Monday through Friday. All right. And then you'll get other access to streams and things like that. Now, if joining us over here is not your cup of tea, then you can become a Patreon member. Simply go look for MM2K Gaming News at Member Plus. And then what you can do is see the membership options over there. And again, we have 2 tiers. We have a tier 1 that's similar to the foamed up tier. We got another tier, tier 2 that's similar to the foamy homie tier. But here's the crazy thing: as you can see here, those prices are crossed out, and there's even cheaper prices. All through the month of April in 2025, we are giving people access on Patreon 50% off. So you can join us on Patreon, get 50% off your subscription and get access to the same great stuff. Another thing that you can do, another awesome perk, is when you join our Discord, which is in the description below. Join our Discord. You'll also get notifications to when all of this member content goes live. You can go to our special members only notification rooms, and you'll get access to the content there. So multiple ways you can join us over at MM2K Gaming News, get access to all the great content Monday through Friday, on top of the stuff that you already enjoy. We thank you again so much for your support, and until next time, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace. What's up, people? I hope you're enjoying MM2K Gaming News content. You have a possibility to get access to even more great content, and I'm going to show you how very quickly. First and foremost, you're going to want to become a member. And you can become a member at 2 different levels. You can become a member at the shout out level, which is our $1.99 or $2 tier, and then you can become a member at what we call the foamy homie tier, which is at $3.99 or $4, depending upon where you join. So I'm going to show you how you join on YouTube. All you got to do is simply go to join right here, and then you can pick one of the 2 tiers, the foamed up or the foamy homie tier. And again, the foamy homie tier will give you access to everything. Just simply click on that and join and follow the instructions from there, and then you'll get access to our members posts that we place over in the post section, where you'll get access to members content Monday through Friday. All right. And then you'll get other access to streams and things like that. Now, if joining us over here is not your cup of tea, then you can become a Patreon member. Simply go look for MM2K Gaming News at Member Plus. And then what you can do is see the membership options over there. And again, we have 2 tiers. We have a tier 1 that's similar to the foamed up tier. We got another tier, tier 2 that's similar to the foamy homie tier. But here's the crazy thing: as you can see here, those prices are crossed out, and there's even cheaper prices. All through the month of April in 2025, we are giving people access on Patreon 50% off. So you can join us on Patreon, get 50% off your subscription and get access to the same great stuff. Another thing that you can do, another awesome perk, is when you join our Discord, which is in the description below. Join our Discord. You'll also get notifications to when all of this member content goes live. You can go to our special members only notification rooms, and you'll get access to the content there. So multiple ways you can join us over at MM2K Gaming News, get access to all the great content Monday through Friday, on top of the stuff that you already enjoy. We thank you again so much for your support, And until next time, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace. What's up, people? I hope you're enjoying MM2K gaming news content. You have a possibility to get access to even more great content, and I'm going to show you how very quickly. First and foremost, you're going to want to become a member. And you can become a member at two different levels. You can become a member at the shout out level, which is our $1.99 or $2 tier, and then you can become a member at what we call the Foamy Homie tier, which is at $3.99 or $4, depending upon where you join. So I'm gonna show you how you join on YouTube. All you got to do is simply go to join right here, and then you can pick one of the two tiers, the foamed up or the Foamy Homie tier. And again, the Foamy Homie tier will give you access to everything. Just simply click on that and join, and follow the instructions from there, and then you'll get access to our yo, what's up, everybody? Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. I know my mic has been messed up. Something happened with Windows, and I know it's like the balance is off, so y'all let me know if it sounds okay. I still haven't gotten to the bottom of it, but hopefully I can soon. I think I know what it is, but as soon as I discover it, the better. You know, the sooner the better. So definitely let me know. But we're back. What's up, everybody? Special broadcast of NRO Podcast. This is episode 104. Can you believe we're at episode 104? Cold Blood likely will not be joining us today. He might pop in for a second, or his ass might be in bed. My bro's been playing greatness, and when we do the actual show this Friday, he'll have more to talk to you about some greatness. But he's enjoying Deathstranding too, so I got a 30-minute late start because I had to do overtime at the last minute. A lot of you may be, as we're trying to get people in, and do us a huge favor, hit that like button. If you're lurking and you, I want to hear what this guy has to say because I can't stand him. Well, you know, hit the like button if you enjoy rage watching. Or shit, hit the dislike button. I don't give a damn. But just let YouTube know that, hey, you dig the content one way or another. You dig it because you like it, or you want to kick it, dig it. I don't know, but just hit the like button, all right? Or the dislike button. I don't give a damn. With that said, shout out to everybody. While people are still coming in, well, before we do that, let me say this, and I'll repeat this. Matter of fact, I think I have a message up there. We're gifting a copy. Yeah, this should be it. Hold on. Let me see if I can edit this. We're gifting a copy to one like join before. Yeah. Okay. So that should be up there on the screen. I don't know why YouTube has this problem now where here, let me lower this a little bit. YouTube has this problem where while I'm trying to, what is this in the background? You can tell I ain't been here in a minute. Got shit playing in the background. What the flippity flip flop? The flippity flip flop. The flippity flip flop is that? Okay, I got two sources running. Now I don't. Okay, all right. Let me move this down a little bit. Let's move it down a little bit. How do I do that? How do we do that, MM? Okay, well, no, I already got it up position. That was the wrong one. That was the wrong parameter. I think that's better. Okay, all right. Now, we're gifting a copy of Deathstranding, as you can see in the comments pinned up there. We say win a copy of Deathstranding 2. Just make sure you are a member at any level by 6 p.m. So you only have 20 minutes. So you're going to want to hit that join button. You got 20 minutes to do so if you're not a member. a member at any level will win. We'll win. We'll get an opportunity to win. Lionel Bolgen in the house. MM2K was good. Yeah, we got Lionel. We got Lionel on the magic wheel too. So let's take a look. Let's show you what's going on here. We got the magic wheel going on right here. Yes, Lionel's on there too. So if you want to be part of the magic wheel, that is the wheel that we're picking. A winner of a copy of Death Stranding 2, courtesy of our homie Geek to Sneak. On there, which Geek to Sneak is on there too, which he shouldn't be. He's not going to gift himself, so I'll take him off. But yeah, shout out to the homie Geek. He is sponsoring this giveaway. So what we'll do is whoever wins, I'll be in contact with you so I can pass that information on to Geek, and he can get you your code. For Death Stranding 2. So shout out to Geek to Sneak. Lionel says, we out here wilding this week, ain't they? They wilding, bro. They are wilding, Lionel. Let's do this. Because I want to get you guys' comments up here. I'm a little rusty. I haven't utilized these tools in a minute. Yeah, they out here wilding, bro. Look, here's the thing. When it comes to we're spinning the wheel at 6:30, so in 45 minutes. We're gonna spin the wheel in 45 minutes, Lionel. But I'm only giving people 18 more minutes to join. I might give them a little bit longer. I might give them till a quarter after, and then we're gonna spin at 6:30. So all y'all that's already been members, I already got y'all up there and your extra tickets for, whatever level you're at, and you know what I'm saying, and all that cool stuff. So, yeah, so make sure you join. He says, okay, well, I'm going to be with y'all until the stream is over. That's what's up. This is not going to be a super long stream. But I do got a lot of ground to cover, and I get it. A lot of people, the faithful, want to know who the hell's going to win their copy of greatness, which is Death Stranding 2. So we might spin the wheel. No, we're going to spin the wheel at 6:30. I might give people till 6:15 as people are coming in. Normally takes them about 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? The first 5 minutes was the promo to let you know how you could become a member. You know what I'm saying? And then hopefully they'll hop in the next 5 minutes or so. All right. Or the next couple of minutes. Okay, so here, let me know, how's my audio, y'all? How's the audio? Hit that like button, please. Get us to 10 likes. It helps us out tremendously. Hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. I know my audio has been a little bit unbalanced. Something's wrong with my OBS and Windows. There was a Windows update a few weeks ago, and it just messed up a whole bunch of shit, and it's been messed up ever since then. I think I know the setting that I have to mess around with, but I'm not 100% sure. Lionel says, could PlayStation be going for 2 years in a row Game of the Year? They could be. Here's the thing, Lionel, which I hear a lot of people say, Expedition 33. And don't get me wrong. Now, I have not gone deep into the game because, as you guys may know, I've partnered with a lot of game developers, big and small, to do reviews. And a lot of those views they show up on Cloud Dosage. Some will show up on PNTS Network or whatever. I'm still trying to iron that out. But because of my schedule change, it's been kind of difficult. So I kind of did like a preliminary review of V Rising. And V Rising is just a huge flipping game. So I'm still going through that. And really, that's been the only thing I've been playing for like the last month, because I'm trying to get through this thing. It's a cool game, but it's so demanding. And my thing about it is I'm trying to be impartial about the game, because when you're reviewing a game, it's one thing when you're playing a game because you feel like picking it up. It's another thing to play a game because you have to play it, not necessarily because that's the game that you want at the time. So because my schedule is so conflicted and I don't have a lot of time to game, I can't like even me in Death Stranding, it might be another few weeks before I even get Death Stranding and play it. because I gotta finish this Verizon thing. So that's the gift and the curse of getting access to some of these games. But if you're into games like Verizon, check it out. It's a cool game. I got a preliminary review up on it on Cloud Dosage, and then next I do want to get to like Deathstranding 2 and all the other stuff, right? That being said, yeah, my schedule's been impacted. We got some more people coming in. Hit that like button, please, and make sure you join. You are going to miss it if you don't have Deathstranding, or if your change is a little strange, and you're like, man, I really want to pick this up, but I ain't got the 70 right now, or whatever. We're giving you an opportunity. We're giving you, shout out to Geek to Sneak. Thank the Geek to Sneak. You're getting an opportunity to get the game. All you gotta do is hit the join button and join at any level. We got a $1.99 tier and a $3.99 tier that'll enter you into the raffle. Here goes the raffle right here. We're going to pick a winner. Okay, it's not going to go. Okay, there we go. We're going to pick a winner at 6:30. So in about less than 45 minutes, we're going to pick a winner. So if you want to be on this wheel, yeah, better hit that join button, or don't hit the join button and just let the members that are there right now get their just due. Okay, let's read some of these comments, and then we're going to get right into the thicket of things. Could PlayStation be going for 2 years in a row? Game of the year, says ass Lionel Bulgin. Yeah, oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Expedition 33. Yeah, so I didn't get a lot of time to play that game, but that opening cutscene when the mugs first land on the island, I'm not gonna spoil it. That's all I'm gonna say. It took my soul. I remember I was playing it. I think I was playing it on Twitch. My brother Coldblood was in the background, and he was like, "Damn, you getting all creamy knuckled." I mean, I'm not even into cutscenes and all that shit. That cutscene took my soul, man. I was like, "This game is going to be the shit." Just if this is the vision, if this is like the artistic vision and the dark, twisted paths that you could go on, I'm digging this shit, right? So there you have it. Everybody's screaming Expedition 33, but here's what I will tell you. The game that comes out the latest usually is the game that gets more favor, you know what I'm saying, in its hand. So if you got two games that are like really going against each other, from what I've noticed, that these awards places, a lot of them, the ones that we watch, tend to give it to the one, the later your game the closer your game releases to the award show, the more of an edge you get. Now, that wasn't the case with God of War and Red Dead Redemption. I know that because God of War released several months before Red Dead Redemption. But opposite of that, I can't think of any other one. So Deathstranding could have a chance of taking this. I know people are like, no. But here's what and then more people, which I think is great for Expedition 33. More people would have had an opportunity to try Expedition 33 because it's releasing as a multi-plat. Doesn't matter. It's, particularly the Game Awards show, it's based upon, first, Metacritic is what separates you from the pack. And then it goes to their judges or whatever. And they're going to pick. And like I said, I feel like they have a tendency of picking the one that's, closer to that launched closer to the date. You know what I'm saying? So, Deathstranding might have an edge in that regards. 2K, where you getting the code from? Shout out to Geek to Sneak. Geek to Sneak is giving us the code. Longtime follower and faithful supporter of the platform. He is offering up the code. Geek has supported us in other giveaways and stuff like that. So shout out to Geek. Because I think Expedition 33 is a little overrated. Well, I can't debate you on that, Lionel, because I haven't played it all the way. Like I said, I got to the opening cutscene, and then I landed on the land after that crazy, that I don't want to say open, but the crazy cutscene. You know what I'm talking about. And that's as far. And I got to the first boss battle. That's what I did. I did the first boss battle. So I was a little confused because I don't quite understand the fighting system just yet. But I only spent like, I want to say I spent like an hour after getting on the, landing on the side. I'm very early in the game, bro. I can't debate you with it, but you know, look, man, when there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm telling you, and to be fair, I did not give Death Stranding a fair shot. I bailed out on it early. Me and Cold Blood had that debate on Twitter or Twitch about that a couple months ago. Well, I bailed on Death Stranding early, but y'all know me. Y'all know my journey when it comes to PlayStation games. Really wasn't digging them before 2018. And even with Death Stranding in 2019, like I love Days Gone. Death Stranding, I wasn't willing to wait. You know, I was at the 5-hour mark and I just gave up, but everybody was like, you should have pushed through further. You should have pushed through further. I'm like, I'm not the biggest Kojima fan, so I'll just leave that one to y'all. But I just feel that when PlayStation gets involved with the game, it's always, it's going to turn out better this time around. I just feel like they're more in tune with having a broader footprint for gamers like me that typically didn't like their stuff before 2018. So it was like that with Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn, hated it. I love Horizon Forbidden West, love it. You know what I'm saying? Didn't really care for the first Last of Us. I thought it was cool. I thought it was, didn't, and I don't really like any of the Uncharted. I liked Uncharted 2. I thought Uncharted 2 was cool, but all the other ones didn't like them. Last of Us, the first one, was okay. Was cool. I was like, oh, this is better. They're getting better at this shit. Last of Us 2, fucking love it. But Ghost of Tsushima just came out loving it. Like Sony just started pow 2018. And the only one I didn't give a chance to was Death Stranding. Now people may say, well, Death Stranding is a multiplayer, that's a Kojima game. Look, yeah, technically yes, you're right, but Sony funded it. Sony owned the IP for a while, and then I got some interesting, what do they call them, dumb facts. Like technically Sony still owns it. I'm gonna show you some shit that Colin Moriarty showed us on Twitter today. But it's gonna be in Kojima's hands sooner rather than later. But Sony funded it. Sony was part of the development. I got something else to show you where someone got their ass handed to them today, acting like Sony didn't have anything to do with it, and then they're using Decima engine. The engine, which was originally the Gorilla engine, that Gorilla and Kojima worked together on to perfect. What are people talking about? But this, I haven't been part of the gaming discussions for a while. A little bit here and there on Twitter because where I'm at is heavily secured. You're not allowed to be on your phone, yada, yada, yada. So if I can take a break or something, or I step away where I'm allowed to be on my phone, I might scroll through Twitter real quick, leave a comment or whatever. But I'm going to tell you something, man. I feel like that several hundred brain cells came back by not being on Twitter. A lot of you motherfuckers are dumb, man. You're dumb. I hear some of the argument pieces that you guys put out there. PlayStation don't got no exclusives. Meanwhile, y'all calling Xbox games exclusive. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Like, I know a lot of you are purposely capping because it's a console war, which doesn't exist anymore. But I know you're capping for your favorite brand, and that's just what you do on Twitter. And if you like it, I love it, whatever. But at least if you're going to play that role, try to play the role with wise arguments. Like, I remember when I was in high school, I used to be part of this thing called moot court competition. Some of you might be, it was like a debate club where you would pretend to be a lawyer. They would give you the craziest fucking defendant, and you either had to defend him or prosecute him. And it could be a situation where You're playing the role of a defense lawyer. You know nothing about this case. They give you a cue card that tells you everything about this defendant. You're learning it right then and there, and then you got to argue the case. And this could be a stone cold killer that was eating the motherfucker live on camera and shit like that. And you got to defend them. Or you could be playing the role of a prosecutor, and the person is clearly innocent, but you got to play the role of a prosecutor and try to put them away and shit like that. We would do shit like that. So it's kind of like Debate Club meets I Want to Be a Lawyer. And even though you're fronting and playing a role, you got to come up with smart arguments. Like, I feel like teenagers come up with smarter arguments than these grown-ass fucking men and women on Twitter. It's pathetic. And I had to separate myself just for a couple of weeks just to, I mean, I always knew the arguments were dumb, but just to realize how dumb your arguments are. I saw one argument trying to quote how many PlayStations were sold and why that makes sense, why Xbox didn't sell as many copies of what do you call that fucking Final Fantasy 16 as PlayStation. But y'all just argued earlier that all we do is buy consoles, people that favor PlayStation. What type of fucking sense does that make? So if all we buy is consoles and we don't buy the games, we don't support the games, who cares how many consoles are out there? It doesn't matter. Remember, it's like you guys don't keep track of your own arguments and you get caught in your own web all the time. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. So, you know, I appreciate my time away from social media, because it can really numb your brain cells just to be involved with this shit. But yeah, I can't argue with you, Lionel. If you think Expedition 33 is overrated, I mean, hey, you know, I'll see, and you know, we can talk about it further. You know what I mean? But that's your feelings. You're not wrong for how you feel. You just can't say, oh, it's overrated and people are just capping for it. No, some people may love it, but if you don't like it, that's you're entitled to that opinion. You said you can tell 30-something devs made it. Stop it, Lionel. At level 88 in VR Rising, holy shit, Voyager 88. Hey, look, I was thinking about opening the server, but I'm not gonna lie, Voyager, I'm kind of getting V Rising fatigue, but I still like the game. I'm at level 50 right now. I'm at level 50. And I'm almost in the point to where I can go and battle in those what do they call it? The Requiem fights or whatever that thing is, where you build that monument and you can go do random boss fights and shit like that. I think it's the lowest you can be is 57. So I'm 7 levels away from that. Which all I need is more improved gear, and I'll get there in 2 gear enhancements. But yeah, if I keep with it after my review, man, I'll send you an invite to my server, or if you got one, I'll join yours and all that shit. Andrew Wilkins, Slanderous 360. Andrew Wilkins, no, shut up. Andrew Wilkins, I do want to say this to you, bro. You have been one of, as all of you have been, but you've been one of the bright spots in me not being able to really get involved in this shit. My man Slander the 360 like me. His Slander the 360, man, it just had me fucking laughing. And I remember I saw something that you put on one of my recent videos. And I can't remember which one because I haven't done a lot, but you had put something on there, man. I was howling at work and motherfuckers was looking at me like I was crazy. Yeah, so they were hollering at me like I was crazy. Hold on one second, y'all. Sorry about that. Anyway, what else we got here? Voyager, what you think about V Rising? I was thinking about getting it. I would say get it, man. Yeah, V Rising is worth it. Like, finish Deathstranding, of course, and hopefully one of you guys will get a copy from us. And shout out to Geek to Sneak. But yeah, V Rising is the shit, bro. Voyager, what would you? I would say this: if you're into like top-down isometric games like the incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. I don't know if you guys remember that game. That game came out a fucking while ago. I think that game released what, 20. Let's look that up real quick. Let's look that up. The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. That is a classic to me, particularly the first one. Now I know they came out with a 3, and I don't think 3 got that much praise, but what I like about 1 and 2 is, like a Mass Effect, you can transfer shit over. Like you can actually take your character attributes and some of your weapons and transfer from 1 to 2. So I enjoyed that shit. The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. It came out 2013. So that was my game of the year. It beat out Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider reboot for me. 2013. I love that fucking game, bro. So it's kind of like in that vein, but what it does is there's a lot of crafting in it. Where Van Helsing was not based upon you crafting. Well, it was based upon you making like booby traps and shit. Like, I don't know if you guys ever played BioShock 2. A lot of you are PlayStation enthusiasts, so y'all probably skipped out on BioShock 2 because y'all were mad that BioShock 1 was a day and day. Y'all was hating on BioShock 2. I love that series, except for Infinite was trash. But anyway, if you played BioShock 2, the thing with BioShock 2 is you had to lay a lot of booby traps in order to survive. That's what the Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing is, where you got to lay down a lot of booby traps. V Rising requires you to do like crafting, build your castle. You can deck your castle out, and you got to put shit in your castle to help sculpt weapons and armory and spell, and shit to increase your spell. So it's not like mindless crafting. Like, let me give you a prime example. Fucking Fallout. Now, as y'all remember, I was the one that was capping for Fallout 76, right? Because I love Fallout, and I love the idea of Fallout being played with a buddy, right? So when Fallout 76 was getting all that heat, I got on the mic. I was like, look, man, fuck all y'all newbies that came on board with Fallout 4. This is core Fallout that you could play with a buddy without all that bullshit. But then I started getting to the bullshit where, the little Minecraft elements, you had to really do them in order to advance fruitfully in the game around launch. And that's what threw me off. V Rising is different. Even though you got to do crafting, they etch it so well in your character building up itself that you want to do it. You want to build that castle. You want to get that study so you can learn the newest spells or get the latest items. You want to, then you can fucking, because you're a vampire, you can take control of people and shit like that and have them go get resources for you. And you want to deck them out, because the more you deck them out, the better resources they get. It's like, it's deep, bro. And then the fighting mechanics aren't bad either. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some tough ass enemies. Like, they did a collaboration with Castlevania. So now, now that I got to update 1.1, motherfucking Simon Belmont is walking around, creeping around the world and shit. I gotta run from him because I'm nowhere near. Voyager, I don't know what Simon Belmont's level is, but every time I see him, he's red. Even though I'm at level 50 now, he's still red, meaning stay away, do not touch. And so, so I'll be galloping around the woods causing mayhem. Oh, here comes Simon Belmont just walking down the woods and shit. I'm like, okay, let me turn around before before he take my head off. So yeah, it's like that. I highly suggest, and I think it was on sale for $19. It may not be on sale for $19. And here's another thing I'll do too. Stay tuned here, y'all, because I am going to do a live event with it later in the month, and I got a code to give away. Shout out to the good people at Stunlock Studios. They gave me a review copy, and they gave me a code to give away to the community. So I'm going to do that later in the month when I get the time, is give out the code. So if you're in the code, it's either going to be for Steam or PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys are interested, is V Rising even out for Xbox? I think it is. But yeah, you'll definitely want to try it out. We're going to continue on, and then we're going to talk about this Deathstranding. Did you play the first one? Death Stranding proves that Kojima is versatile. Yeah, Andrew, I didn't give it a shot. So what I'm gonna do is the same thing I did, because the game is already out, and as soon as I'm finished with V-Rising, I want to hop straight to Death Stranding, and then I'm gonna attack my backlog as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing I did with Horizon Forbidden West. I'm just gonna look at the story up until now's on YouTube, right? And then I'm gonna hop into DS2. That's the same thing I did with Horizon Forbidden West. I just was like, I really wasn't digging Zero Dawn. Let me just catch up with the story, see what the fuck is going on. Okay, boom, now I got it. All right, now let me pop in Forbidden West. Love the motherfucker. As soon as I fell in love with it the moment I just started playing that shit. That shit is wonderful. Wow, chef's kiss, right? And I'm glad I did it that way. So hopefully that same formula works with me with DS2, because they're like, okay, we get that a lot of y'all wasn't down with waiting about 5 or so odd hours for this thing to really start cooking. You know what I'm saying? You get into the shit a little bit faster from what everybody been saying. That's up my alley, because that's the way Horizon Forbidden West was for me. So that's what I'm going to do, Andrew. I'm going to read the story or catch the story on YouTube, and then just start from there when I play DS2. You know what I'm saying? I was going to get the collect. Where the fuck is? Oh, hold on. No, that's my business partner. I was I had begged him because my new function also got a new role, and it's a lot more laborish, you know, because I'm at disaster recovery. I'm hauling shit around more, you know what I'm saying, and I'm not used to this shit. Oh, what the, hold on. No, that was him reminding me he got to get the key from me. Yeah, so I'm pulling shit around and we're trying to do shit. And today we had a lot of stuff to transport and move to a different area. So I was like, yeah, I'm beat the hell up. But hey, bro, could I get the day off? And I'll relieve you tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So because we want to do this giveaway. All right, we want to talk some of this crazy stuff that's happening. What else? I think you're gonna like this one, 2K. Yeah, I really do. I'm confident I am. It was just too slow for me, and because shout out to Neethles, shout out to my bro Neethles, that filthy bot. Shout out to my bro Neethles. He was telling me. Because I was like, I ain't playing that walking simulator. He's like, no, bro. Death Stranding becomes the shit. He said it takes some time, but it becomes the shit. I'm like, I ain't trying. He's like, come on, I'm telling you. So shout out, Neethles was telling me. So I believe, if Neethles going to tell me, of all people, that filthy bot number. Shout out to my brother. If Neethles is going to tell me that the game was all right, I believe it, Lionel. You know what I'm saying? So he says I have 246 hours. Hey, yo, I'm probably close to that. Y'all, but I'm a slow, because I'm reviewing it too. So as I'm reviewing, I'm typing shit. So yeah, I might be close to that, bro. I might be close. Andrew Wilkins, the 360 is the most overrated. You, Andrew, the 360 is the most overrated console for no reason. Yeah, he said, and Voyager says Simon is best skipping until you're 80. Oh shit! So I'm barely halfway there. Yeah, some BS attack. Yeah, bro. Okay, I figured that was best. So it would be a one-hitter quitter. It would be like Charleston White in the Island Boys. He hit me with that one-hitter quitter, and I tap out. Oh man. Okay, I'm glad you told me that, Voyager. I ain't fucking with side. I just be chilling, causing mayhem, you know, attacking villagers and stealing their resources. And here come this motherfucker Simon Belmont. And then every now and again, oh, I see it's time for me to rip your head off, or whatever the fuck you say. Man, I get up on my horse, I gallop the hell out of there. I'm like, man, I'm getting the fuck. I'm not messing with Simon Belmont. I know I ain't ready for Simon Belmont. So, okay. All right. So that's that. I caught everybody up. Let's get into, let's start spreading the news. All right. Let's talk about it. Deathstranding. Deathstranding 2. Oh no, we can still leave that up there and still talk Deathstranding 2. Don't forget, we got 30 people watching. Please hit that like button, or shit, hit the dislike button. I don't care. YouTube looks at it, and let me tell y'all something, because I really split my time between both platforms. So I'll give you guys a secret, because YouTube be on some fuddy-duddy shit. Like a lot of y'all, when I do make content, y'all don't get it till like 4 or 5 days later, because YouTube is goofy. Here's what I will tell you. All you mofos that go downvote shit and y'all think y'all hurting the video, you're helping it. YouTube looks at a like or a dislike the same way. They look at it as an engagement. Now, see, I didn't tell y'all that because I'm like, because motherfuckers be disliking my videos, because I got haters. Motherfuckers be disliking my videos and thinking that they hurt me and they actually helping me. Like, if I were to create a video and it gets 100 dislikes and only 3 likes, that's fantastic. Why? Because that tells YouTube, motherfuckers hate this video so much they feel like they have to engage with it. Why is that important to YouTube? Ads. Because if I'm engaging with the video, then the more likelihood they can pump ads at you. You know what I'm saying? Now, another thing that YouTube has done to our channel is they will not put us in front of y'all, even though y'all check, and do us a favor too. Make sure that your bell doesn't say personalized. That's YouTube's goofy AI algorithm that's fucked up. Make sure it says all, or you're gonna miss out on content. Trust me, I'm not gonna blast you with shit because I don't make content every other day, but at least you know when I'm making stuff. Another thing that YouTube won't do is, because I don't hit you guys with midstream ads, they push us down in the what's it called too. So that's why hitting that like button or even hitting the dislike button is huge for us, because it shows YouTube that despite their greedy, grimy little tactics, that people still will engage with the content, and hopefully you guys will help still keep us in the funnels. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Phil Boss in the house. And Voyager says DS2 has been fun so far. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about it. I do want to show you guys this first, though, and get your thoughts on this, because a lot of this is going to be me engaging with you guys until we got another 15 minutes again. Nobody's taking the bait. I'm looking at the stats. We've got no new members. And really, I really don't give a damn, because the will is full. So that's on you, puppy fam. If you don't want an opportunity to win, trust me, I'm not e-begging. I'm just saying, my brother Geek to Sneak wants to do a favor, and he wanted to do a giveaway for the members. I am taking the extra initiative and saying, look, let's extend it to anybody that's interested in the channel and give them an opportunity to become a member. Geek was just fine with just keeping it the members that we already have. So I'm just letting you know, I'm not going to e-beg. I might say it one more time just in case somebody might have missed it earlier, or y'all can read. Fuck it, I'm not going to say it no more. I'm just going to pull a name at 6:30, but this is your opportunity. You can join at any level, get an opportunity to be put on that wheel. We're going to spin the wheel, pick a winner, bada boom, bada bing. You don't do it, and you don't get a copy of Death Stranding 2, I don't want your shit. All right? Got it? Get it? Got it? Good. All right. Let's go. Now, I'm going to show you guys something because Colin Moriarty, I know I fucked his name up. Hold on. Let's do this. Can I? There goes the web right there. So Colin put out this interesting tweet, right? And it said, last year, Kojima Productions announced it acquired the Death Stranding IP from Sony. But in researching for Sacred Symbols, I stumbled upon something spectacular. The change is only reflected in Japan. Elsewhere, US, EU, UK, Australia, etc., Sony retains the rights. Now, before y'all start running out there and sending shit to bots and doxing them and doing all types of crazy shit, just hold your horses. Colin explains even further. He says, as the owner of half a dozen ish IP trademarks, I know filing can be slow, especially post-pandemic, but it's strange this change isn't yet reflected anywhere outside Japan. Ownership changes should file quickly. Anyway, just thought it was interesting and figured I'd share. Meaning, it's being processed, but it's not happened yet. So this game technically is launching as a PlayStation IP. It's launching as a PlayStation IP, but at any moment, it could, you know what I'm saying? It could become an Xbox. I mean, not an Xbox. What the fuck am I talking about? Become a Kojima Productions thing, right? So, just some food for thought there, right? But here's the thing: when it comes to Death Stranding 2, I see a lot of people out here. Let's do this. I want to go pull up the Metacritic of Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding 2 Metacritic. Let's pull that puppy up, and it's sitting there at a 90. Did the Jimquisition, you guys know that guy that always likes to play sourpuss and fuck up scores for games and shit like that? Like he'll give games 3s and 5s and shit. Has he done the score yet? Anyway, it's a solid 90, and it's a must play, right? So we got a lot of people on the internet, as Lionel was alluding to, saying all types of crazy shit about, when it was down in the 80s, it seems like it's going to be an okay game. I'll get it, when it comes to PC, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So and this is why I say I had to step away from the space, because y'all can't even move court competition right, where you're just trying to defend anything one way or another, right? You can't even do it. Here's the thing. Everybody in this console war, again, this is a news flash, breaking. This is fucking breaking news. If you're feeding the children, washing clothes, giving someone mouth to mouth, stop it. Let them pass. This is breaking news, okay? If you want to be in this space, talking AAA genre defining games in which defines the console war, we don't celebrate getting games late. We don't do that. We don't celebrate getting games late. Meaning we don't say, oh, this was a hell of a game, but I'm gonna sit and wait for it. Like, I get the whole, hey, I'm a competitor of yours, and so down the road, you're taking your IP or your games and you're putting them on a competitor's platform at all. Doing that at all, that's different. Shout out, we just got, what do we get? We just got, somebody did something. Oh, Geek to Sneak celebrates 14 months of membership. What up, Mr. Fortune 500 says Geek? That is the sponsor of our giveaway, Geek. Geek to Sneak, y'all shout him out. Our lucky winner will receive our gift courtesy of Geek. Shout out to you, Geek. Geek, and I don't know everything that you'll need, but we'll talk about that. When I pick a winner, I'm gonna pick a winner in like 10 minutes. We'll talk about that. Everything that you'll need or whatever. I know you've been busy, brother. I've been busy too, man. They trying to kill me at work. Move me to our disaster recovery site and got me moving servers and shit like that. What the fuck is going on? Anyway, so yeah, we don't celebrate. If you want to be like, it's different. If you want to talk about games, and Geek is a perfect example. Geek is not part of the AAA genre-defining console war. He's not one of those people. He just likes talking about games. So there might be a subject matter that crosses into Geek space that's also being talked about in the console war space. You know what I'm saying? And it just happens to be relative in both parameters, right? So if you're in Geek space where you just want to generally talk about games and how games are coming along or what's affecting games, okay, that's different. But if you want to be in this console war popping your itch type stuff, we don't celebrate games coming late. We celebrate great games coming late. So what we're to celebrate is, holy shit, what games do I get that are, exclusive, whether they're timed exclusive, whatever. What games do I get that or fit into that category that are great, that are objectively recognized across the board as being great? If we're talking about second party, like, let me give you a prime example. High on Life. When the ponies was like, High on Life is now on PlayStation, so Xbox invested the money. It was day and date on Xbox and day and date in Game Pass. So if High on Life was the shit objectively, that's a benefit for an Xbox owner. PlayStation people can't really jump up and down and celebrate the game coming there because it served its purpose. Money was invested into the game. It was brought to that platform exclusively. And so you had to have that platform at the time of release in order to enjoy it. The same applies to Deathstranding. It's a multi-plat, but it's a timed exclusive on PlayStation. PlayStation people get to play it for a long time, and for all intents and purposes, it's a phenomenal game. Let's see what High on Life scored. I said High on Lifer. High on, is that High on Life's Metacritic? Is that right? Oh shit. Okay. Well, the user score 7. Okay, so High on Life was not objectively the most celebrated game. I didn't realize it was that low. I thought it was. I'm sorry. I thought it was higher, but it still serves my point. So if we look at High on Life and we don't get to say, oh, this quote unquote money added game finally made it to play to Xbox. So you Xbox finally made it to PlayStation. We don't get to say that with High on Life. It served its purpose. Well, it was to be timed exclusive on Xbox. That's how it works with DS2, a multiplayer game. that was a timed exclusive. Stellar Blade, multiplayer game that was timed exclusive. The Square Enix games, multiplayer games that were timed exclusive. You can go back to the director of the Final Fantasy games, and they've always hinted to the game eventually being multiplat, but they just said that it was better for them for the games to come to PlayStation first. So you don't get to subtract a point from Sony because this eventual multiplat is on PlayStation. You don't have access to it day one. And we don't celebrate. Shout out to Juice celebrating 14 months. Look who is back. What's up, brothers? I forgot to put a link in the Discord. I'm sorry, Juice. You don't get to celebrate that, just like the ponies didn't get to celebrate High on Life. They may have talked a little shit, but they don't get to celebrate it. Or like Cuphead. We knew that the game was eventually going to come somewhere else. It's not even a second party game where PlayStation owns the IP, but it was developed somewhere else like Helldivers. This is what I don't understand. You will have people that will tell you, I don't care that Xbox's first party games are going somewhere else. That doesn't matter. It's still all Xbox, right? And it makes Xbox better. Like, don't tell you that. It's still all Xbox and it makes Xbox better. Even if the game drops day and date, like the Oblivion remaster or like Doom, it doesn't matter. They're so quick to defend first party games going to competing platforms, even day and date. That doesn't matter. It's an Xbox game. But you want to deduct points from PlayStation for their timed exclusives. Even though all your games are timed exclusive, no one can deduct a point. Your first party games are timed exclusive. Nobody can deduct a point. You can deduct a point from PlayStation because multiplat games are timed exclusive. That doesn't make any sense. Here's the fact of the matter, and then we're going to talk about Deathstranding too. In this AAA genre-defining console war space, if I get a game that is fucking awesome, that is objectively awesome, regardless of what the circumstances are, and you can't play it, that's a point for the competing platform. Period. 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 If the game is awesome and I can't play it on your platform day one, that's a point for the competing platform. Some may argue it's a little different with first party games, and I agree. If you guys remember, I was shitting all over the Horizon Lego game because the IP is a PlayStation IP. What the fuck are you doing, right? So I keep it a buck across the board. But if we're talking about quote unquote money hatting game, that's what I'm talking about. If it's a fucking, we'll go as far back as BioShock and Jade Empire. If it's BioShock, which was timed exclusive, well, Jade Empire never made it to PlayStation. But if it's BioShock, Mass Effect, hell, fast forward, Tomb Raider, the second of the Tomb Raider reboot, Your Life, game like that. If the game is considered objectively stellar, that's a point for the platform. And the same goes for the PlayStation games, because at the height of their release, those people can play it and you can't. So you don't get to deduct a point for Stellar Blade. You don't get to deduct a point for the Final Fantasy games, you don't get to deduct a point for Death Stranding 2. Just like we don't deduct a point from you for Stalker 2, even though Stalker 2 ran like trash and it may not have been considered objectively awesome on the Xbox console. It still was a game that, you know, made a lot of sales on PC. You get to say, we got that game right now, you guys don't. Just if you don't throw up in your mouth and you can deal with all the bugs and shit like that, particularly on the console. But yeah. So like, I don't understand these dumbass arguments from these people who have their first party games released on the competing platform or day and date. They can defend that, but want to deduct points. It doesn't make any sense. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Let's go to the comments, see what people got to say, and then we're going to talk about which is greatness of Death Stranding 2. Social Joint says, people still talking about 360 20 years later. Sad stuff. What you've been doing for 20 years. Well, the 360 is a very nostalgic machine, and look, it was an opportunity for Xbox. The 360 was important because it was the one and only time where PlayStation was made to feel the heat. And we got a better PlayStation because of it. So it was very significant. That's why people are talking about that. And they want, and Xbox gamers want Xbox to have the same respect that it did in the 360. It's not happening. It's cause and effect. People didn't respect the 360 just because it was there. Ooh, the 360, that's a cool name. I like the CEO of Xbox. People didn't even know the fucking They didn't know who Seamus Blackley and Peter Moore were. I mean, I did because I was, you know, deep in the weeds, but they didn't know who these motherfuckers were. All they knew was Major Nelson and the goddamn Xbox. That's all they knew. So the 360 was respected because it demanded respect. It commanded respect. Fucking the Xbox now, come on, bro. Belongs to the streets. Higher Life may not have been celebrated, but it was a good game. Funny as fuck too. See, that's what I'm saying. But I don't get to deduct a point from Xbox gamers having that because it eventually landed on PlayStation. It did what it did what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to be advertised as a game that was only available via Xbox and its service, and that's what it did. No game Microsoft is truly celebrated. Xbox fans don't even actually like Starfield. That is true. That is true. If capping was at an all-time high, it was with Starfield, because you don't hear them talking shit about Starfield. As a matter of fact, Starfield is the most like dropped Bethesda game probably of all time. I mean, this doesn't tell you everything. But let's go to SteamDB. Let's just look and see where Starfield is. Okay, say Starfield currently has 3,500 people in it. Let's go to Fallout 76. There's fucking 8,000 people in Fallout 76 right now. Fallout 76. There's only 3,500 people in Starfield. That tells you everything that you need to know. And don't give me that shit. Well, it's because it's an online game. The way Bethesda makes their games, they are to be played like ongoing games, especially when they're on PC because of the fucking mods and all that shit. So a game that was lauded and kicked around and kicked in the ribs like Fallout 76, I know it's doing a lot better than what it was at launch for the general public, but still, it's still Fallout 76, which a lot of the general public turn their nose to, right? It has more than double. It has like around 60% more players than Starfield does.
Fallout 76 that came out in April of 2020 has around 60% more players than Starfield that came out 2 years ago. Or a little less than 2 years ago. That tells you everything that you need. Starfield is probably the least engaged Bethesda game of the modern day gaming era ever. Like, yeah, I would argue that is probably the least engaged game from Bethesda of the modern gaming era. So, you know, Andrew, I don't like your 360 slander, but you're absolutely right there. Xbox dudes now claiming Expedition 33. I've always argued, T-Boom, that Xbox deserve a little bit of credit of helping with the marketing with that game. But it's not a Xbox game at all. It's on the Xbox server. That's like saying Friday is a Netflix movie. You know what I'm saying? Because it's on Netflix. Like, no. Like, did Xbox with its showcase, you know, like really having that showcase in front of everybody last year and showing that game? I remember me and Coldblood was watching that. We were like, yeah, now this shit is dope. Now that helped raise some awareness to the game. But once that awareness was raised, you know, everybody else, I mean, you know, the game just did it for itself. Plus, they got money for being in Game Pass day and date. I'm pretty sure that helped the new starting company, right? And then, look, it was a win-win situation for them because after they got that awareness, it spread over to the PlayStation side and then to the PC side, and they killed it over there. And even though they didn't kill it on Xbox, who gives a fuck? So that's where Game Pass actually did help a developer in a positive way, because it helped give them exposure to where, not necessarily for Game Pass and definitely not for Xbox, but it helped give them exposure to where people on the platforms where motherfuckers actually buy games, their awareness was raised of the game and they flocked to it. So as long as look, if you're a developer out there, here's my information to you. Don't do the Game Pass deal where you're exclusive to Game Pass. Don't do that dumb shit. You do that dumb shit, you might as well just swallow the cyanide capsule right after the game launches. Don't do that dumb dog shit. What you do is you take a Game Pass deal, get you some bread for the development, right? And then you launch everywhere, like Baldur's Gate 3. Look, Baldur's Gate 3 went to Google, and y'all know I was a big Stadia fan. Went to Google and said, hey, we'll put your fucking game, we'll put our game on your fucking service. We're only gonna put like a portion of it on there, but hey, we'll put your game exclusively on there. Give us some bread. And Google gave them a significant amount of money according to my sources, gave them a significant amount of money. And then Larian told Google, nah, we're not going to make this game exclusive to y'all. We're not playing that exclusive game. The only thing we're doing is we're granting early access to you, and it's coming to PC. So you work it the best way that you can, work it. And they got that bread, and they eventually came out, and that bread was very useful to them because they used the Stadia people and they used the PC people. And for the people that PCs but did not have PC strong enough to play the early access, they just went and played it on Stadia through the cloud. That was very helpful to Larian, and that was key to their success. Getting that brand from Google, you know what I'm saying, and using that to build and the rest is history. And see, because they did it that way, they launched Baldur's Gate with no strings attached. They did it their way. That's why Baldur's Gate 3 ended up being so fucking successful. See, Xbox could have really screwed them. Why? Because they tried to throw them under the bus, remember? When Matt Booty came out there and said, "Oh no, it's not. It's not a hardware issue with the Series S. You know, the developers just got to get good, right? You know, said that in so many words. And because Larian wasn't tied to no publisher that is worried about, fuck, we can't ruffle feathers with Xbox because fuck, they are a product of Microsoft. You guys don't understand how important that is. Even though they may be the laughing stock in some corners when it comes to gaming, they're still a Microsoft property. We can get fucked over because of this. Look at how fucked over the UK and the CMA were over the Activision Blizzard deal. Now I get there was a lot of money involved, but that was all around an Xbox acquisition. They done went and subliminally sent threats to the UK about no longer supporting them, and that got to the UK government, and the UK government put pressure on the CMA in an unprecedented fashion to go back and revise its ruling and work with Microsoft, even though they fucked up, work with them and allow them to finalize the deal. That was unprecedented. Didn't happen in the CMA, never happened like that before in CMA's existence. That's the power of Microsoft, not Xbox. So we got to remember that. But because Larian ain't ran by nobody but Larian, they said, I don't give a fuck about Phil, don't give a fuck about Sarah Bond, I don't give a fuck about Satya's glossing and bald head. You motherfuckers have this trash ass Series S, and it is a bottleneck. How dare you go to Gamescom and say that dumb dog shit? I tell you what, game's not coming out for your fucking platform. It's coming out everywhere else. And until you allow us to eliminate split screen from the Series S, until we can figure that shit out, if we ever do, it's not coming. And what did they do? They wanted parity. They broke the parity clause for Larian. So if you're, that's why I've been arguing for the last couple of years. Larian set up the blueprint. If you're worried about being tethered to a big publisher that's going to make you do some goofy shit that's against your morale or your character as a company, do what Larian did. Strike some quasi-exclusive deal with a company that really could use your property or even a vertical slice of it, like they did with Google. Take that bread, develop your game, you know, do Kickstarters or whatever, you know, you can to get additional funding, and run and publish this shit all on your own. That's what you have to do. Because if had Larian been publishing the game through EA or Take-Two or whatever, that end scenario would have never happened. Because Take-Two, EA, and all them other motherfuckers would have been like, no, you can't smack the hornet's nest, which is Microsoft. They're too, you don't fuck them over. Why do you think Game Science did what they did? You know? Because they don't need what the fuck, they don't need Microsoft. They're a Chinese company. All they need to do is sell their game on Steam and PlayStation. That's it. They're Gucci. They don't need Microsoft for shit. You see what I'm saying? So that's the secret to success. If you're an independent studio and you want to maintain your independence, oh shit, it's 6:44. We gotta do this raffle. You want to maintain your independence, then you know what I'm saying? That's what you better do. All right, so if we're going to do this raffle real quick, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Let me go and see if anybody else joined. I don't think anybody else became a member. That's y'all's loss. Not mine. Not mine. All right, let's go to YouTube Studio. Let's see what any of you mother flippers content. No, we gotta go here. All right. Any new members? Did we get any? Nope. None of y'all motherfuckers joined. Oh. Okay. Y'all might already have Deathstranding coming. So you're like, I don't need a copy, but you can assault. You know, well, no, I ain't gonna tell you to do that. Excuse me. All right, here we go. The magic wheel. Oh, yeah. All right, so here's what we did. We went to our members. Now, this is how we run things, and just in case you don't know how we run things here, we always extend an extra olive branch to our longest supporters. So for those of you that are on the more expensive tier, which is either the foamy homie or the gifted homie tier, we gave you an extra spot. We gave you an extra placing. What I also did on top of that, because Geek really wanted me, and I think it's only right, to really, like, he really wanted this raffle to be for those that are supporting the platform, and to give an extra, olive to those that have been supported for a while. For every 3 months that you've been supporting the platform, I've given you an extra slot. So there you go. Now you know when Ghost of Your Time comes out and we do something similar, or Lost Soul Aside or something, we'll do this for games that are the shit. That's how we get down. All right. So that's why you might see some names multiple times, whatever, because of that. All right, are you guys ready? We're ready. Lotto said I'm gonna win. He said okay. All right, if they want physical, okay, see, Geek is the shit, man. We got some of the best supporters here. All right. So we're gonna roll this baby. Y'all ready? If you're ready, Freddy, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. We rolling, and the winner is... Oh shit, it's PlayStation Sweden. Shout out to PlayStation Sweden. PS5 Sweden, our homie, the big homie. Congratulations. I know, Lotto. I was rooting for you, brother. I was rooting for you. Shout out for PlayStation. Shout out to everybody that supports the platform. Shout out to PlayStation Sweden for winning. PlayStation Sweden, I'm going to reach out to you, bro. I think you're on Twitter. Geek, let me know in that DM. I sent you a DM on I know, Lotto. It's okay, bro. It's all right, man. You'll win next time, man. You'll win next time. Matter of fact, like I said, I'll do this again for V-Rising. How about that? I know you would prefer Deathstranding, but I'm gonna do this again for V-Rising. All right. And Lionel, you're I don't want to put your government out there, but if you renew your subscription, and you only got to renew it I know you were given a gifted, but if you renew it at the $3.99 level, you'll get multiple tickets when I do this one. All right. So shout out to the homie PlayStation 5 Sweden. I haven't seen him. It could be late over there in Sweden. It's probably like 1 a.m. and shit. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to him, man. All right. He says that's with Billy Gates' power. Layoffs coming at Xbox. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and they celebrating. They're actually celebrating. They look. Let me tell you something, man. I'm going to show you guys something real quick. Hold on. Let me go here for a second, and then I'm gonna show you guys something. Let me see. I gotta go to my channel. I want to show you guys. Hold on. I gotta switch account. Why the fuck am I in that account anyway? Okay. Let's go here to my channel and let's look at, oh, here it goes. I'm going to show you guys this. Xbox risky move to become more PC. Picked apart. I had like an hour and a half on Saturday after I cut my grass. And we talked about this risky move that Xbox is doing and who it's risky for. So you're going to want to listen to that. I'll give you the skinny on it. Xbox is telling, if you're listening to this, in all likelihood, unless you're like Devil Shooter, who's a PC guy, shout out to Devil Shooter. Shout out to the homie. He's been a long time supporter too. Like the first time I ever started streaming, and fucking 7 years ago, Devil Shooter was there. So shout out to him. And we got a selective group of people. This is not a PlayStation channel. We just got gamers here. You know what I'm saying? The bulk of us may be PlayStation, pro PlayStation. But everybody's welcome. And here's what I will say. If you are someone like Devil Shooter who doesn't mind waiting for said game to come from PlayStation or anybody to PC, and you rather just game on your PC, this is fucking fantastic news for you. This is fantastic news for you. You're getting more support from Xbox to ensure that the properties that they own are supported on PC, like first and foremost. Because everything that they make, even though Xbox is relying on PlayStation to keep afloat, they do better on PlayStation. Their games are doing better on PlayStation than they are anywhere else. Just look at the financials. This is the first time Xbox has hit 20 billion, I believe. With even though they brought the Activision properties, which were 9 billion, they were actually losing money the first few years after the acquisition, or the first year after the fiscal year after the acquisition, because the estimates that they should have made, had they still been independent, they were like $1 billion or close to $1 billion under that, like $500 million under that. And this is the first time that Xbox is making the projections that they should have made with that Activision Blizzard money. I mean, or I won't say not necessarily Activision Blizzard, but the first time that they're meeting projections as far as revenue are concerned across the board. It's only because they started adding their properties to PlayStation, even their legacy properties. It wasn't based upon the shit that's already on PlayStation. It's the legacy properties that weren't on PlayStation before that they added to PlayStation. That's what filled in the gap. PC couldn't do it. Definitely Xbox couldn't do it. It was putting their shit on PlayStation. But even though PlayStation is what's keeping their lights on, they are still catering to PC. So if you're a PC gamer, this is fucking awesome for you, bro. If PlayStation, even if you're a PC gamer, like Devil Shooter is grinning ear to ear. But most of you Xbots that come here, you're not Xbox refugees yet. You're not. You are still Xbox console gamers. You still got the threat of the only 30 frame per second games. You still got the possibility of the game when it launches on PlayStation, it being better, even on the base. It's definitely going to be better on the fucking Pro. But it's better on the base. You still got that threat. And now you're paying $726 for a console comparable to a $399 PlayStation. Or what is it, $379 now? Is that shit still on sale? And it comes with it comes with your game. So listen to this. You're an Xbox gamer, right? And look, all Xbox gamers over the last 2 generations, they all don't have Game Pass, right? Because if you do the math, between the past 2 generations, there's probably about 75, 80 million Xboxes out there between the last 2 generations, right? So there's 75, 80 million Xboxes out there. There's a gazillion people on PC, right? and you only have 35 million Game Pass subscribers. And I don't even know if that's all, what do you call that? Like, if they're counting this collectively, or this is all 35 million active users now. I don't know. I know there was a content creator that had proclaimed that this was all active users, the numbers they throw out there, and not lifetime, and then they deleted all their tweets. I'm not gonna say who, because it's a homie of mine. I ain't gonna put them out there like that. But I know they have close ties to people at Xbox, and someone probably tapped them on the shoulder, was like, "Nah, Cuddy, you might want to delete that shit, bro." So I mean, we'll stick with, for the sake of argument, we'll stick that it's active users. But I'm just saying, based off of what I've seen, I can't even say what 100%, but we'll just, for devil's advocate, we'll say it's active user. You got 35 million active users. You got 70 to 80 million consoles out there between the last two generations who can get Game Pass, over a gazillion computers out there. You got about, I would say maybe 2 or 3 million cloud gamers out there that, for the most part, I get that there's now a la carte games that they can play, but if you're a cloud gamer, trust me, you're subscribed to Game Pass, and you're playing your games through Game Pass. You're not buying your games unless they're not available in Game Pass. Right, so between the 2 to 3 million cloud gamers that definitively are on Game Pass, and all those other motherfuckers that that could be an install base, you only have 35 million. That tells you that every single Xbox owner, the minority of Xbox owners, actually have Game Pass. So what does that mean? That means that the overwhelming majority of the people on Xbox truly just buy Call of Duty or buy Madden. They buy those super tentpole, or they're called Leviathan games. I've heard that terminology used, which I like. They buy the big ticket, and that's it. They're not interested in anything else. They're not even interested in Game Pass. So Xbox has those statistics. They see you actively on Twitter talking shit, but you're not increasing what you buy. So they have two markets. Either you're just a Call of Duty or a FIFA player, and you're going to buy those two games and that's it, or you rely on Game Pass, where every other platform has the majority of their gamers are Leviathan gamers. They buy 2 games a year. That's everywhere. But they also have gamers that will individually buy games. They have an active 16% that will buy games every other month. Xbox doesn't have that. Why? Because when they start putting their games day and day, the data shows it. When they start putting their games day and date on PC, those more hardcore gamers said, well, fuck it, I might as well go to PC. And what's happened? If I'm on PC buying a game day and date on PC, you got to split 30% of that with Steam, because most of those people are on Steam because they're going to get better deals on Steam. So you got to give 30% of that to Steam. Then guess what else happens? 30% of your microtransactions for your Xbox game got to go to Steam. But more importantly, guess what else happens? Third-party game comes out. Guess who doesn't get any of that revenue? When you used to get 30% of that revenue on Xbox, that 30% of that revenue now goes to Steam. You get none of that. You get none of the microtransaction money. You're fucked. So they've already seen the exodus from Xbox to PC. They're like, we might as well continue it. But let's try to make this better for us on the PC front. How can we do that? How can we make that better if by embracing Steam, where people rather play, or people rather play our games on Steam? How do we do that? Well, we try to promote Windows. We try to get Windows everywhere. Why is it important for Windows to be everywhere? Well, and again, hear me out, because I know a lot of people got doubts for Hip Hop Gamer, but Hip Hop Gamer hasn't necessarily been wrong. I think Hip Hop Gamer's problem is he's giving you the prototype version of things that come out several years later. So there's varying differences, but at core, he's hearing about the prototype of this and the prototype of that. He's telling you about it while it's still in flight. But you don't hear about it, but the way he enunciates it, he makes it sound like it's around the corner. So people are like, oh, you're full of bullshit, which he's not. I truly believe that Hip Hop Gamer is on the precipice of a lot of this technology in its earlier phases. And then when it comes out in its final phase and Verge or somebody reports it, then he's like, well, I reported on that. But you reported on it in 1950, homie, and it looks different from when you reported on it. That's the problem. I think it's in this enunciation of the stuff. He is breaking important stuff, but it's in this enunciation of it, how he gets so hyped about it, and by the time it finally launches, it looks different from what he said. But I think he's on the precipice of a lot of this stuff. Why am I mentioning that? He mentions that Microsoft's core desire is ads. That's why Windows is important. There was this big thing about Windows 11 and it popping ads on you through Copilot or some shit like that. I'm not 100% sure. But Microsoft is now trying to embrace ads. So you either pay an arm and a leg to invest in a subscription service of whatever it is, Microsoft, whether it's gaming, the business suite, or wherever, or you deal with ads. That's why Windows 11 is important. That's why Sarah Bond is like, I want Windows 11. We want Windows 11 to be the premier way to get for ads. Hip Hop Gamer did talk about that first last year, and I believe that he, heard something from someone internal, and that's the ordeal. To where Microsoft is not going to get 100 million Game Pass subscribers, but they'll definitely get 100 million people that will play games on the Windows 11 platform, right? So you either use the Windows 11 platform to subscribe to Game Pass or subscribe to this, or you get ads. That's their that's their claim to fame. Now, if you're a PC gamer who's using Steam and you're like, I won't deal with that Xbox slop, you're tethered to it because you're getting ads. You're getting ads. So if you don't want to deal with ads, you better subscribe to Game Pass. And guess what? Play the game on, Game Pass, or pay for Game Pass Ultimate or whatever it's going to be, and then you can buy it on Steam as well. But you're going to have to get into some type of subscription service, or you're going to get ads. Microsoft don't give a fuck. You're going to get ads. All right? So make sure you're aware of this. We talk about this. We touch on this in this video. Make sure you watch that video. Now, why am I bringing that up? Because people want you to believe that this is the end of PlayStation. Because Microsoft is doing this. Here's a couple of things that have to be taken into consideration. And I think this will take us to the PlayStation portion of the video. Or of the stream. or the Xbox news part of the stream. Here's what I will say. In order for this to be successful, a few questions got to be asked. Number one, when this, and I'm not even talking about the ad part, that's when this thing hits its cocoon stage, right? When they feel like they can slither that part in and get away with it. That's down the road. And Hip Hop Gamer talked about that, and I feel like that he was on the precipice of something that's in flight that they're really working on. That's their end game. We couldn't get 100 million Game Pass subscribers, but let's tether all this shit to fucking Windows and let's give them ads. Let's shove ads down their throat. Or they gotta subscribe to Game Pass. That's how they're gonna do this. But even before we get there, to determine if they even make it there, here's what has to happen. Xbox has to make sure that its console gamers don't catch a whiff of the rope-a-dope of the switcheroony and abandon them. So how do they do this? They keep using the word console. They keep using the word console. From what we've heard, the only thing that's making this a quote-unquote console is legacy console games. You'll be able to play them natively on game systems or hardware that has this chip in it. Or as long as the games can be streamed to a device, because the streaming servers will have this AMD chip in it. Now, some people say, oh, it's a custom AMD chip for Xbox. I don't know if we can call it that. I know Brad Sams calls it that, and I trust Brad Sams. I'm really gonna talk about why I trust him in that video. My thing is that, is this really a custom chip that you'll only find with technologies that you'll only find in an Xbox console? Or is it simply a chip that's being put in custom built devices using technology that you can buy from Ryzen Audio? Like, for instance, I don't want to buy a pre-built device that has this chip in it. Can I not buy a AMD CPU and an AMD GPU a la carte, put it in my fucking computer and get those same capabilities? Oh, sure you can. Then it's not necessarily a custom chip. It's simply an APU. And we know what an APU is, right? It's the GPU and the CPU pretty much tethered together on the chip. That's not necessarily a custom chip. That's made for a console. So if I can get said technology by building my own PC that will allow me to do the backwards compatibility and have the graphic user interface, and I can piecemeal that shit together myself, which Microsoft doesn't care that I can do it, that's fine. What they're basically doing is giving you pre-built PCs that have that chip in it that is going to allow you to play the games backwards compatible. And I think that's cool that they're trying to give you access to all their legacy content. That's fine. But as the way that we know a console to be, it's not a console. It's something else that people may appreciate, but it's not a console. Console has native software native to its specific device or device family. Not something that's PC based that just happens to have a modified OS that helps, that's modified for gaming. Doesn't matter. If I buy a game on Steam, I can play the same Steam game on my PC or this hardware. Literally the same game. I can literally take the same game file. Let's just say if I had the executable on my fucking thumb drive. Literally plug it into this pre-built device and download it and install it that way. There's not, from what we know, it doesn't sound like there's going to be an quote unquote Xbox only download system, or you know what I'm saying. If you got, and look, I'm not promoting this, but I'm just saying, if you guys ever try to fiddle around, I've been on work, I've been on MIRC. I'm not gonna, we ain't gonna lie, but I ran under a code to where if I only got the game because I wanted to try it first, and if I liked it, I bought it. You know. So if you ever played around and said, oh, let me try to get these modified hardware so I can play these versions of the games, and you've looked and you've burnt it to a disk, and you look at the file, it's not a typical executable file. It's either has some weird acronym at the end, OCX or whatever it may be, because it's a different type of file that runs under a different type of settings. These are going to be regular PC gaming executable files from what we've been told. It's just that in these pre-built machines, if you're not someone that wants to put your computer together yourself, they've worked with AMD to come up with a specific APU that will have the capability to play your games backwards compatible, that, you know, that'll be able to work well with this new UI. That doesn't mean that you can't go to the store and buy a GPU and a CPU that can, an AMD GPU and an AMD CPU that can do the same thing. That's not a console. Based off everything that we know publicly, that's not a console. Now, if they come out and tell us some more shit, some different shit, oh no. The files that'll install on these Xbox devices will be different. Then that's different. But if these are executable files that I can take and plop in my 4070 rig that I'm looking at, 4070 Super rig that I'm looking at now, and I can still put it in to one of these pre-built devices, that's not a console. I'm sorry, it's not a console. It's something different, but you know, and it's okay, but it's not a console. But they are using the word console. Why? Because they want you, the Series X and the Series S owner, to not feel left out. Remember when Phil Spencer said, we're going to do something that we feel like the console gamer will respect. What does that mean, we will respect? Of course, look, if you're going from console to console, it's in standing order that I should respect what you're doing, because this is supposed to be an evolution of the last console. Why you gotta use this as something that console gamers will respect? Because there are concessions being made to where this is not a console. But we're gonna tell you it's a console. That's what it sounds like to me. It's hardware. And it may be hardware that console gamers might quote unquote respect and might find to suffice. But it's not a console based off of what we know publicly. But it's Microsoft again trying to change the game and trying to tell us up is down and down is up. So here's the thing, Xbox console gamer, you are being kicked off the console and moved to PC. Now they might have some flashy cool UI that will try to maximize the game for you on PC, so you ain't got to try to fiddle with settings. But if any of you that have rigs that know about these said programs that are supposed to optimize the game for you so you don't have to fuck around with anything, if it's PC based, if it's Windows based, it sucks balls. And Microsoft of all people ain't going to, you know, that, huh? As Steve Harvey would say, don't fall for that shit. So here's what I say. you're a PC-based gamer, you are in like Flynn. Level shooter, whomever, y'all got it. You know, Microsoft is making y'all priority because of Windows 11, even though what's saving their gaming, it's PlayStation, but they're looking at the bigger possibility of not just selling games, we'll sell y'all ads. So if you, and again, I think that's still several years away, or maybe sooner, who knows? That's their end game. So if you can deal with the ads, then go for it. Or if you're like, well, I guess gaming on Windows 11, I don't want these, or just being on Windows 11 period, I don't want these ads, I better subscribe to something so you won't get the ads. But besides that little point, you guys are in like Flynn. But it's you, the Xbox console gamer, where you're gonna have problems. You're used to playing your games natively on a price sufficient or price efficient piece of hardware. Look, building a PC that will have the comparable performance of a console, you're not going to get that. And building and getting a pre-built, it's going to be even fucking worse. It's going to be even fucking worse getting a pre-built. There might be a cheap pre-built that's put out there that's made by Dell or somebody like that. You will know that it's cheap. You will know that it's cheap. But if you want to get something that gives you your 4K 60 or your 4K 120 or your 8K 60 or whatever is the standard next gen, you're going to be paying a pretty penny, because Xbox is no longer going to eat that cost of the hardware. You're getting a pre-built PC with these devices that has UI meant for optimizing your gaming experience. That's nothing new. My TV does that. You know, it'll do some cool things like spread your achievement points across wherever you play and all that other stuff. But, you know, wherever you play is really just on different PCs. And then it will integrate backwards compatibility on it. That's the part I really want to see. Like, how many games are going to be backwards compatible? Is it just going to be digital games, or will it include physical games? That's what I really want to see. That'll let you know that even though this isn't a console, how valuable this thing is as a system. Right? But you got to ask some questions. Question number one. A console gamer. Because PC gamers, they're already used to this shit. Console gamer. Are you willing to go from $500, maybe $600? I feel like consoles might start off at $600 next generation. Are you willing to go from $500-$600 to $900, $1,000, maybe $800? Are you willing to do that for a lesser performant device? Add $100 or $200 to that for a handheld? Are you willing to do that? Because they're not subsidizing the cost at all. Because it's not about selling you games on said hardware anymore. It's not about that. It's just about getting something in your hands that operates Windows, and trying to get something in your hands that operates Windows that gives that where you have to do the least amount of tinkering. It's not about you buying games on Windows. If it was about you buying games on Windows, they wouldn't incorporate Steam. They wouldn't incorporate Ubisoft, or they wouldn't be incorporating even GeForce Now. They just want you to game on Windows so you can get ads. But they want your transition. They do want your transition to be as seamless as possible. Going from console and PC, there's only so much seamlessness you can get. Especially if you motherfuckers go out here and find some of these cheap ass OEM devices, and you're like, oh, see, MM, I got the Walmart Dark special console, quote unquote, for $700. See? Wasn't that expensive, see? You go home and plug that motherfucker in and it does 920, 15 frames per second on phantom dust and shit. You'll be a salty motherfucker. But so are you willing to convert over and do that? Or are you just gonna get you a PlayStation? Or are you just gonna get you a fucking PlayStation? That's question number one. Question number two. This thing where they're like, this is the PlayStation. Are you, as a PlayStation gamer, are you willing to go again and pay $800,000, $900,000, even and add 100 and 200 to that for a handheld? Are you willing for a lesser performing handheld at that? Are you willing to do all this for a more expensive price and to get the PlayStation games that you want to play later and less optimized? But really, so I'm going from maybe a $700 PS5 Pro to a $900,000 pre-built device that will get PlayStation games later on and get them less optimized, right? We've already got a field just so I can access Xbox games on Game Pass. Like, we already got a litmus test for this, right? We already got a litmus test for this. You can already build your PC right now and do that. And PlayStation gamers aren't doing that. They just wouldn't, if they wanted something more powerful, they wouldn't got a PS5 Pro. There's already a test field for this. So I understand the theory of, oh, PlayStation gamers are in trouble, PlayStation's in trouble. They can already do this now and do it cheaper than what Xbox is going to make available to them. They can do it now. They can do what I did. I just built my son. A PC. And he cloud games. So all I had to do was get him a 5060 Ti because he uses GeForce Now. And if you're familiar with GeForce Now, any GPU over a 10 series or 20 series, I'm sorry, any GPU over the 20 series gets like this AI enhanced capabilities because it's an NVIDIA card. So the games look even better. Like if I got GeForce Now Ultimate and I got an NVIDIA card over a 20 series, it's gonna look fucking awesome. And I got along with GeForce Now Ultimate. So that's what he plays on. So I built him a 5060 PC because he cloud games everything. All the Game Pass games are on there. I can give you guys a bunch of links to Xbox games that I play through NVIDIA GeForce Now that look better than anything possible on the Series X. Like, he's home free. That cost us, after like discounts and shit like that, it cost us like maybe $870 something. Okay. So it's possible now. Go sign up for GeForce Now. Build you a 5060 rig. Okay, people can do this now. They're not doing it. They're just buying PlayStations. So what is this mystical, magical dust that's going to make PlayStation games? Oh, it's going to cost me more to do it. Oh, PlayStation, fuck it. I'm doing it now. What is going to make them do this? I had a conversation with somebody, and then we're going to move on. I had a conversation with somebody, a dear friend of mine. They gave me a scenario, and I talk about it in this video. They gave me a scenario where they think that Xbox might be taking this OS to PlayStation and Nintendo. I know, don't laugh. Just stop. It's a good friend of mine. Just cut the bullshit, okay? Don't you guys go laughing at my friend here, okay? But they were going to take We want to take this OS, Xbox, to PlayStation and Nintendo. That's Microsoft's end game. And, that we don't need PlayStation, or gamers won't need a PlayStation anymore. I say this in the video. I'll give you a quick snippet of my video, which I urge you guys to watch. We really deep dive the theories and all this craziness that's happened on the internet. Because the whole Xbox messaging was so confusing, I couldn't understand it myself. Here's. I didn't say it to my friend at the time because we were just catching up talking. But as I had to digest it, I thought about it and I said, Microsoft has sold Xbox gamers so much hope that it's hard for Xbox gamers to just say, you know what? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not falling for any of this shit until you show and prove it to me. Xbox gamers just can't do that. I was there. Last gen, I'll never forget. Shout out to the homie Next Gen 720. He told us during the 2018 Xbox showcase was going to be dog shit. Remember the showcase where they showed you the deer simulator, where the deer was trying to get a bag of M&Ms out of the fucking train station and shit, out of the vending machine. Remember that game? The only good thing that they showed to was Metro, what was that, Last Light or whatever the last Metro was? And that was truly multi-plat. He tried to tell us, like, don't fall for the shit that you're hearing in the community. This is all wishful thinking, I'm telling you. And we didn't listen. And he was right. And I realized, I said, this community is led with people that rather be lied to than know what's going on. And they have low self-esteem when it comes to the demands as a consumer. I don't have low self-esteem when it comes to demands as a consumer. I feel like I'm more important than these companies because I don't need PlayStation. I don't need Microsoft. All I need is for a publisher or a developer to make an awesome game and somewhere to play it. And I got a PC and I got GeForce Now at the end of the day. So I don't need these motherfuckers. They need me. How are you catering to me? Xbox gamers have low self-esteem as a consumer. They don't make any demands. The only thing that they want is Microsoft not to make them look bad on Twitter. That's all that they care about. As long as Microsoft doesn't make them look bad at Twitter, they will be happy all day. Phil Spencer can shit on a pencil. He can shit on the number 2 pencil, grab an old ass HDMI port from the 360 Black, stick it in his shit on the number 2 pencil and say this is the next gen Xbox. I know we told you that it would have cloud capabilities, all this other stuff. No, you could just write with this. And we added an HDMI port right there next to the piece of shit where the corn's sticking out of it, and literally sell it for $7.99 and Xbox gamers will buy it. This is the shit, like literally. It's a PlayStation screwed. You guys have such low self-esteem as consumers. I lose viewers and followers and members all the time because when I feel like PlayStation forsakes me when it comes to gaming shit, not about arguing on Twitter, fuck that, I don't give a fuck about arguing with dummies, but when I feel like when it comes to their offerings and what they give to me as a consumer, I rake them through the coals and people send me Dear John letters, I can't deal with you anymore, man, oh my God. And they leave, and I don't give a fuck. Matter of fact, I made a video a couple months ago or a month ago telling them, please don't come back this time because I'm talking positively about PlayStation. Like literally, just please stay away. We're trying to build a community of gamers that care about how they're treated and don't want to slurp and burp a company. Please, just don't fucking come back. And they listen. Some unfollowed and they didn't come back. And I'm appreciative of them. I wish I could send them a copy of Deathstranding 2 as well. I don't want to raid geeks' pockets anymore. But anyway, so they can fucking stay away. But anyway, I have too much pride as a consumer. Well, you're not going to do this to me. What the fuck? So that's where I think crazy theories like this, where this OS is going to take over PlayStation, and I think this is rhetoric that's being spread around in the Xbox community, because these Xbox gamers and creators and loyalists, they can't just sit there and say we were fucking wrong. Now, I have the audacity and the gall to call them out because I had to do it. I truly thought that right before they announced that they were closing down, I truly thought Google was going to give it one last hurrah when it came to Stadia, do this thing called low change porting. I won't get into all of that here, and turn it around. They actually made some announcements. Remember, people were excited about it, that hey, they were going to allow you to play your games from PC through some type of emulation process, and that was real. It was called Bring Your Own Games. Amazon Luna ended up doing it at a certain capacity. Stadia was working on it first, and they were going to do it right until they decided to shut down. They were going to make expansions. There were other things they were going to do right before they decided to shut down. Linus Tech Tips, brought it to fruition. Oh, is that cold blooded here? Linus Tech Tips brought it to fruition. Oh no, I just got bumped to AFK. Linus Tech Tips brought it to fruition that the developers that worked on Stadia actually loved it. He got a version of the Stadia dev kit from one of the developers and talked to him about it and thought they were going to say, oh, this was a dog shit. And actually ended up talking to developers, and they said they loved it. They wish they would have kept it around even more. I was getting slow leaked information. So, despite all that, I had said on my own accord, look, I don't think, I gave the worst case scenario. I said, the worst case scenario, if 2023 doesn't work out for Stadia, I could see them starting to close shop. I said, but I don't foresee them doing it until they transition to YouTube and integrate YouTube into Stadia. And if that doesn't work, because remember they had the thing where if you were a content creator, you can put out a certain code and allow people to play games with you as a content creator. I said, if that didn't work, then they would shut Stadia down. That's where I placed my bets when it came to Stadia's existence. But that was wrong. They didn't even make it to 2023. They kind of did, but they didn't give it the full hurrah. So as soon as I found out, it took me an hour to set up the stream, and I went live, and I said, you know what? They fucked up. And the Google Graveyard guy was right. I said that I'm extending an apology to that guy. I mean, he was tactful and tacky. I mean, tactless and tacky, but he was right. And Xbox gamers just won't do it. They won't admit that, hey, I was wrong. I got on the mic and I gave you guys wrong pretenses on the viability of this. Don't trust this anymore until XYZ happens. There is a precedent set out here. Xbox keeps failing at everything that they attempt. Everything. They've been failing. They've been doing nothing but failing for 13 years. I've never seen anything like this in gaming. This has nothing to do with liking PlayStation over Xbox. Fuck, just say if PlayStation never existed, they would still fail. Somebody would beat them. The fucking Ouya would be beating them and they'd be in third place. They failed for 13 years. I've never seen a company for anything, the pretzel company, the fucking car company, fail for 13 years straight and have such a loyal fan base. I've never seen it. That's because this fan base doesn't value themselves as a consumer. Either it's because they're truly not gamers. So therefore they don't understand what good gaming looks like. They just happen to jump on this Xbox gravy or Xbox bandwagon because they saw some people they thought were cool were doing it. So they just subscribe to Game Pass, they Rolodex through a game, play it for 5 minutes, and then go about their business, and now they feel like they're part of something. Either it's that, or you hate PlayStation that much and you're not a gamer. You hate PlayStation that much just because, not because the games are bad, but you hate PlayStation that much, you've made some weird blood oath and vow to never give them any props. I think it's more of the latter than anything. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who made the same blood oath, it's fucking stupid. It's idiotic. Because at the end of the day, you're a gamer. If you want good games, you should have a PlayStation. Period. Because even though you can get a PC and wait for them to come, they don't come, they're not packaged the best way. It's like, say for instance, Ruth Chris Steakhouse makes your favorite steak, a cut of meat, and whatever that gets prepared and doesn't get eaten that day, they sell it to McDonald's. And the way McDonald's serves it, it's fucking horrible. That, my friends, is PlayStation ports on PC. I want that cut of steak at its finest. I'm going to Ruth Chris Steakhouse to get that. I'm not going eating that fucking shit when it gets delivered, sitting on the dock and gets delivered to fucking McDonald's. I'm a gamer. So I frequent GeForce Now. I built me a PC and I have a PlayStation 5 Pro. Because I'm a gamer. What are you? Are you a gamer and a consumer? Are you a dick rider and a teabag recipient? That's what you gotta ask yourself. Last but not least, let's talk about PlayStation and then we're gonna get out of here. Hold on one second here. Trying to pull something up. Oh, PlayStation had record profits. I'm trying to find that link. I did have it saved somewhere. PlayStation had record profits. PlayStation, let's play, not just revenue, but they had record profits. I see a lot of people rolling with this moniker. Here it goes. No. I'll just use this from Daniel Lamont. Yeah, let's look at Daniel Lamont's comments and let's talk about it. Let's see here. Now this is my first time seeing Daniel Ahmad's take on this, so just put that out there to be transparent. Sony held its business segment meeting. And the PlayStation 5 generation has generated $13 billion in profits. This is compared to $10 billion accumulated profit generated during the PlayStation 1 through PlayStation 4 generation, or IP PlayStation 3. This is the first year where PlayStation 5 monthly active users are higher than PlayStation 4 was equal last year. 38% of PS Plus subscribers are paying for the premium of extra tier of the service, up from 30% 2 years ago. This is translated to 63% higher spend on subscription services over the 5 years of the PlayStation 5 life cycle versus the first 5 years of the PS4 life cycle. So, I throw that out there. As we know, Daniel Ahmad is not, he is not Jeff Keighley pro PlayStation guy, right? Okay, we've seen him put out plenty of things that question his, integrity towards PlayStation for some of us. But I thought it was important to put Daniel Ahmad's take on it up here. There's no more debate. There's no more debate about the mightiness of the PlayStation 5. Look, as someone who tried to debate the mightiness of the PlayStation 4, and I used to be in the DMs with the bots talking the crazy shit, but God of War doesn't have a jump button and it didn't sell 35 million. Yeah, fail. I was in those conversations, right? I mean, we tried making videos that y'all rightfully called me out on, including Cold Blood and shit. That's how we got so cool, right? And always trying to caveat the negative about PlayStation and then, try to, focus on the positive about Xbox instead of just looking at the entire platter and just telling it how it is. When you look at the entire platter and tell it how it is, you can't help but understand that PlayStation objectively is the juggernaut of the console world, of the AAA genre defining console world. And they have the greatest marketplace known to man when it comes to gaming. Okay. So PlayStation 5 continues that trend. And what's even more impressive about the PlayStation 5 is that it's doing this without any serious price cuts. The most significant price cut that we've seen was the one for the summer, and that's not as big as it used to. Like you used to get around now, usually a PlayStation is $200. There's the PlayStation Slim would have been $200. I think the best deal you got was $379, right? The best, or it might have been $349 without a game at one point in time. It's the chip shortage. Then you got the threat of the tariffs and all this other crazy shit that's happening financially in the world. With the Bank of Tokyo and just the stock market and everything. With all these variables, they still have the best marketplace in gaming when it comes to AAA genre defining gaming at that. I think it's time to stop with this PlayStation is failing, PlayStation is this, PlayStation is that. Just stop it. Like it's really over. I get that some of you have hate in your hearts for PlayStation that much to where you're going to bloviate and overport something negative with PlayStation. But what we really need to see you guys do is, for the sake of gaming, hold Xbox to task. I remember, and again, I know some people cap for Concord, but I remember when Concord came out and PlayStation gamers was like, who the fuck asked for this? I remember when Herman Hulse was fucking up and people in PlayStation were like, get rid of him. Jim Ryan just made some miscues. Get rid of him. There seems to be a standard with PlayStation. And when that standard isn't met, everybody's up for sacrifice. When it comes to Xbox, you motherfuckers just, oh, man, why did you make it? Come on, guys. Instead of just saying no, throw everything out. Let's start anew. PlayStation will be dominating, and PlayStation gamers will be like, no, you're one game short this year. What my expectations were. Throw everybody out. There's like a level, Naughty Dog has not made a AAA, iteration yet this generation. You guys are ready to throw them out, even though Jim Ryan said that these games are now going to take 7 years to develop. Give us some time. You still want to throw you guys are still attacking Naughty Dog. And again, I'm not arguing that you shouldn't, but I'm just arguing that PlayStation gamers have a level of expectation because they feel like they are valued consumers. And Xbox gamers don't feel that way. They just want to hate on PlayStation. But let's keep it real. If Xbox gamers, I'm not saying every single PlayStation gamer does this. We got some cappers. We've dealt with them here. They show up in this chat. But if Xbox gamers, percentage wise or in totality, whatever, held the same litmus of expectation to Xbox, here's what would happen. Phil Spencer would be gone. Sarah Barn wouldn't be running these goofy ass campaigns. And I told you guys this was all Sarah Barn. I told you this is an Xbox with Sarah Barn, and it was revealed later that this was who was doing this through Verge report, through some anonymous source. I haven't been doing business for almost 3 decades for nothing, and didn't recognize any patterns. But anywho, we told you guys all this stuff. But if she wouldn't be doing the dumb shit that she would be doing, you guys would have come off to a slow start, but you would have picked up pace. You got the war chest to do it. Game Pass would have been successful. Can you imagine if PlayStation had the war chest of Microsoft? They had the money. Don't you think that they would have tried day and date more? Because look, they're seeing gains with PS Plus. They're seeing gains with it, but the problem is that when you're putting your tentpole titles in their day and date, there's going to be loss leading. Remember, it was like before Disney had its fall off. Remember, they said we're going to lose $1 billion, and then, after we lose $1 billion, we're going to start making billions and making 10 billion. And they started hitting that projection like a few years faster than they originally anticipated. Remember, and everybody was like, Disney's printing money, and then they fell off though. But anyway, if you have quality content, you can afford to loss lead like that. Don't you think that if Sony had Microsoft's money and they tried a Game Pass thing, don't you think that everybody would be signed onto their version of Game Pass if you were getting quality games like God of War, whatever, day and date in PS Plus? Everybody would be signed to that fucking thing, right? If you were getting those quality games day and date in the subscription service. And they would win over because they would loss lead for a little bit, but trust me, they would hit 100 million, if not 200 million. If those but they can't afford to loss lead like that. For instance, when they put Horizon Forbidden West in PS Plus just a year after launch, they lost $15 million on that. That was more than enough for them to say, we're the fuck out of this. So the point I'm trying to make is, it's not so much the ideas that fuck up Xbox, it's the execution and the leadership and the quality of content. They lack too much in all of those areas. Yes, did Game Pass have a good season with getting Clear Obscure, Atom Fall, Oblivion? Yeah, they had a good run. They had a good run. Can they keep it up? Can they keep it up? They had a good run, but can they keep it up? But if you're putting like Deathstranding day and date and shit, like everybody would be signed to that shit. That's the problem with Xbox, is that they have all the money in the world to make this happen, but they refuse to hire the right talent. Why? Because a fish rots from the head. Satya Nadella has no fucking idea who should be running this shit. All he knows is that Xbox is making more money than it did under the Seamus Blackleys or whatever. All he knows. So let's keep this rolling and find some way to make it work with these people. Let's find some way that Phil even know Crackdown 3 was trash. Let's find some way to make it work. That's all he knows. PlayStation, on the other hand, that is surviving off of gaming, can't afford to be that lackadaisical with the leadership. Hence why they boosted Nishino, kind of segregated, what's his name, Hiroki a little bit, right? And they're trying to fix some of the leaks in the boat. But I'm not gonna front like everything's perfect at PlayStation, but these numbers are fucking phenomenal, despite all the variables. And I'm telling you, Xbox people, if you just redirect your focus on Twitter, don't worry about J-Dub and don't worry about my homie Chris Steele. Let them do their thing. That's not going to make gaming better for you. Do what the bulk of the PlayStation people do. Be ready to throw everybody away at the slightest little twist. If you guys were to do that, Xbox would be so much better. Then you would have something to brag and fight about. It would be so much better. So much better. But you fucked up. And that is the show, my friends. Let's now go to the chat, because I've been rambling and bumbling for Lord knows how long, and you guys have been tolerating it. Let's go and see what you guys have to say about all this. But definitely check out my video, y'all. Check out the video where we address all this about what's going on with PlayStation. I mean, with Xbox. Red Rings of Death inflated them numbers. What's good in the 2K? Old man gaming, we've been over this, brother. Just because your console went bad doesn't mean that your game went bad, right? Just because the console had the red ring of death. So you have to explain why the console numbers and the game sale numbers rose at the same percentages. They sold way more games. So don't take it from me. Talk to Porter Rock. Porter Rock has the numbers. They sold way more games on the 360 than they did on the PlayStation 3. And large part is because they had more exclusives. That's Porter Rock informed me of that. I didn't even realize that the 360 had more exclusives than the PlayStation 3. Xbox guys using the what has PlayStation done for you lately mentality, but they forget that years of dryness. Look, here's the thing, Otoku. What has Xbox done for you? I don't understand this theory from Xbox people. Xbox is, you want to know what Xbox has done for you? They've taken away your games being first-party exclusives, not from PC, from other consoles. They've taken away the exclusive. So you went and bought this box for no reason. Your games play worse on the box that you bought than they do on the competitor's box. That's what, and Jazz Gordon said this. When this was all coming to fruition, Jazz Gordon said this. If you're an Xbox console owner, you've effectively become a beta tester for PlayStation. That's what you are. That's what you've been reduced to. You're a beta tester for PlayStation. Because, yeah, you may get the game before they do, but they're going to get the better version. You can't say that for, even though I don't think PC's in the same competitive space as the consoles necessarily. Going day and date PC can have negative adverse effects because, again, like people say, if you're a hardcore gamer, of course you're going to say, well, hold on. If you're going day and date PC, why won't I go where the game is going to play best? It's going to play best on PC. If you're going day and date, that means that you've refined your parallel development and you're going to make sure that your game plays equally as well on PC. I'll go to PC. And if I go to PC, I'm not buying from the Windows Store, I'm buying from Steam. So you're losing all that money. So that's the adverse effect going day and date on PC can have on you, because your hardcore gamer, the one that spends the most money per capita, is going to go where the games are going to play the best. You're an Xbox gamer. That's what you're a beta. I didn't say Chad said it. He said on the Xbox 2 podcast a couple when all this shit was coming out on one of the episodes. You've become a beta, as they say in UK. You become a beta tester. You become a beta tester for a PlayStation. Otaku, again, do yourselves a favor. I know it's addictive, but here's another thing that helped too. My phone broke. I have the Motorola Razr 2024. Do not buy that piece of shit. I was on the elevator with a whole bunch of other IT people, and I flipped open my phone, and it popped, it cracked, and they were like, "Ooh," because they all knew what that meant. They knew that the screen popped. And I'm like, how the fuck did this foldable screen pop like that? And then the little black ink effect. So I got to turn this phone in. But the only good thing about it is the flip phone has two screens. When you flip it, it has that other screen on the front. So I'm sitting there doing everything and trying to look at Twitter on there. It's so cumbersome, and people are laughing at me and shit. But so I don't have my other phone. Do yourselves a favor. Just get off of Twitter for like a week or two. I'm telling you. Just get off of Twitter. Just scroll through to look for news. That's it. And you can't, because on it, when the phone is in this flip mode, I can't even comment. That's why you don't see me making comments on Twitter too. I can't even make comments. So when I do get a time to go on social media, I can't really do anything because this phone's fucked up. And I'm waiting on my backup phone, because I gave all my other backup phones to my son, who fucking broke them. Thank you, son. Anyway, and I had to buy a new backup phone. That's coming Thursday, so I'm going to ship this to Motorola, to ship this piece of shit to them so they can fix it, you know. And I'm disconnected from social media. It's a good thing. Once you get disconnected from Twitter for like 2 weeks, I know you're like, oh, how can I do that? Your brain, you know, you'll realize, hold on, I was in a fog for a little bit. I can see things more clearly and shit. I actually do have 20/20 vision and shit. And you'll realize how stupid the arguments are on Twitter, and you won't even want to engage with them. They're so fucking stupid. Yeah, that argument makes no sense, dude. What are you getting as an Xbox gamer? What are you getting? I know my cloud gamers hate when I say this, but it's the fuck you get a subpar cloud gaming experience. They're still in 1080p. Even Boosteroid. A war-torn Ukraine, even they're giving you 4K right now. Bombs being dropped by them and shit while they're putting up having office meetings, they're ducking bombs. Even they have 4K. Fuck out of here. I don't care about it. Microsoft is losing everywhere. They're failing everywhere. This is not the Xbox that I fell in love with at all. Not the Crab Gamer. Crab Gamer had this funny ass meme out there. Let me see if I can find this. I think it's fucking hilarious. I had to put it in the DM. It was fucking hilarious, bro. There it goes right here. This is the next one. That just tickled me funny. Shit is fucking hilarious. But it's true. That's the hilarity of it. It's true. This is not the Xbox I fell in love with. This is pathetic. Everybody doesn't have to be in the cloud gaming. I am. But do it right. Like war-torn Ukraine's Boosteroid are doing a better job addressing cloud gaming than Xbox. Come on, man. Read the history of the CEO, the leader of Boosteroid, and all the trouble that they went through using the prior business and how they use the same resources to start Boosteroid. All that, and then the fact that you're in a war-torn fucking country. What are we at? Microsoft is one of the top 3 richest companies in the world. What are we doing here? There's no excuse for this. This is dog shit. And y'all want to defend that? Fuck, no way, not here. I value myself as a consumer way more than that. To fucking put on a mini skirt and throw pom-poms for one of the richest companies in the world for them to fuck me over. No. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? It's not happening. Fucking Boosteroid. Shout out to Boosteroid. All the shit that they had to go through, and they're doing a better job. And this was Xbox's thing. Xbox was promoting cloud gaming and posting about it before we knew what a Stadia was. They was talking about this first, and everybody's coming and outperforming them. This is fucking ridiculous. And you guys are capping for this shit and paying money for this shit. And mad at other people because they won't accept it, because they got more pride in what they will accept as a consumer. You're mad at them because they don't want to get teabagged? Are you serious? That's why I said just step away from social media, do yourself that favor, and you'll realize how asinine, how fucking goofy these arguments are on social media, and how dumb these motherfuckers are, and how pointless it is even reacting in them. Even if I get my phone fixed, I'm not saying shit. They're dumb. Xbox just kicking the can down the road. They don't make quality games. What are they going to do after milking Halo, Gears, and Forza? They will stumble on the same issue of not making quality games and lose. Didn't Phil say he's not in the business of making $1,000 consoles, but instead let's make it? Bro, Phil came on there and said, we're not in the business of doing weird console things for you to buy our products. And they've had console exclusives or service exclusives like that Warhammer since then, right? Right? We're not in the business of doing weird consoles. Shut up. No, don't shut up. I'm not even mad at them anymore. You guys are letting them do this to you. They don't have to make hardware. No, they don't have to make hardware. They don't. But well, they don't have to make hardware except for, well, no, now that I think about it, Lionel, they do. Because here's the thing. If you're utilizing their strategy where, again, the end game, and like I said, I think hip hop gamers onto something. I think the end game is ads. I truly believe that. If your end game is ads, right, then what you sell is Windows. And you got these parasocial consumers out here that are still clinging to Xbox. These are the most faithful. They're either unaware or the most faithful. So you got to hit them with the okie doke right now with the strike while the iron is hot. They still believe in the logo, in the brand. So why not get them to buy something that you're calling a console, which is just a pre-built PC with a modified UI that has Windows 11 on it, because you want to sell them ads. Remember, you're not selling games. You're not even selling the device. You're selling Windows and ads. That's what you're selling. And there's who better, because you know the average consumer is going to get all fickle about the ads. But you got these Xbox faithful people, you do whatever you want to them. And they'll accept the ads. I remember when Dark had got that ad, and he went apeshit. the community tried to roast him alive over Twitter. Dark. Mr. Troll PlayStation, what was it, PlayStation Tony or whatever? Dark. They went after Doc and called him everything but the child of God. And you had big ticket content creators attacking him because he's like, I'm a gamer. I don't want, this was not about an Xbox thing, even though Xbox was responsible. It was, I'm a gamer. I don't want to fucking see ads on my console in this fashion. That's a gamer thing. That's not even a console war thing. And he got attacked. There's a community out there right for the picking. And if I'm Xbox, why not take advantage of them? If I know that I have a team that is not capable of curating quality, if my CEO said, you know what, Crackdown 3 is the game that our gamers deserve and it's a total fucking dud, that's the best I got to work with, why not just take advantage of the parasocial goof nuts out there? That's what they're doing. It's no longer Xbox's fault anymore. All my messaging and all my ire is to the goofy community that expects them to treat them right when they showed you every which way. They're not. Their console is like, they got a $730 console that's comparable to a $379 PlayStation that comes with a game. It's a price increase of there's a $350 price difference. With $80 games, Deathstranding, which potentially could be the game of the year, is $70. I think we did the math last show. Microsoft is 25 times more richer or has more market value or market cap than Sony. You expect Sony to be doing this shit. What's going on here? Shout out to Grindhouse Jazz in the house. I was rambling so much I didn't even realize Jazz was in the chat. He said Xbox has been desperate for exposure because they think they will draw attention, but nobody really likes what they're selling. Yeah, look, Xbox is trying, this is what they're trying to do, Jazz. They're trying to trampoline off the parasocial motherfuckers. That look, they beat them down, they spit in their mouth, took the little Debbie snack cake, replaced it with shit, put the shitty snack cake back in their hand, stole their Pumas, put their glasses on, crooked on their face. They've done everything to them. And they're responsible. Whoa. Can't you believe you've done all this to me and you haven't teabagged me yet? When is the teabag coming? Microsoft is like, holy shit, we got a gold mine here. Again, the FCC trial, or the trial revealed that Xbox didn't plan to boost xCloud because of any quality of life things. They planned to boost it on the backs of the parasocial consumers. Or was it Halo? You know, Halo, and they were going to use Halo and the parasocial consumers to launch xCloud. Not because of any special performance. That's why when they put it out there and everybody's like, oh, this is shitty. And they was like, hold on, what is this? Why are you putting it out there? They didn't care that y'all thought it was shitty. They thought that the parasocial motherfuckers would grab the bull by the horns and be like, oh, this is awesome. But it was a case of, who do you believe, me or my lying eyes? The Xbox faithful couldn't cap for that. You had GeForce Now at the time, you had Stadia, everybody, Amazon Luna, everybody under the blue sun that looked 1,000 times better than xCloud. Even they're like, we can't work with this. I can't get jiggy with this shit. They couldn't work with it, Jazz. They threw it out the window and they just said, okay, we'll wait for something else better to cap for. It's the parasocial group that, again, your $500 consoles being thrown to waste. They're telling you we want you off a console. They've purposely priced the console at $729. That's a $350 price gap between that and the freaking PlayStation. I gotta go. I gotta give my business partner these keys so he can get in the building. Did he call me yet? Let me see if he called me. No, he didn't call me. Right, yeah, someone put these keys in here. All right, but we can, you know, I'm gonna read some more comments. Why they don't give Hip Hop Gamer credit? I think it's because Hip Hop Gamer, the things that he's telling you comes to fruition years later, and it's a variant of what he informed you of. It's saying it's like he talks to you about it in the incubation stage, and by the time it comes out, it's like a butterfly. He's telling you about a pillar, but then it comes out a butterfly, and it looks different from what he informed you of, and that's the problem. I think, and I have nothing against Hip Hop Gamer. I like Hip Hop Gamer, but someone that deals in this type of communication type thing, I think what Hip Hop Gamer might want to do is work on how he enunciates these findings. Here's how it looks now. There are certain key phrases and catchphrases. Here's how it looks now. Sony's working on XY, or Xbox is working on XYZ, and this is it in the prototype stage. It may look different years from now, but remember, at the center of it is this capability, something that he knows that is static. He should focus on the static implementation and leave the more loose, non-static things up for, like, hey, this part could look different, but this is at the center of this capability is this, or at the center of this initiative. If he were to start doing that, it would be a whole lot easier for him to tether when Verge does come out and say this, that, and the other. See, I talked to y'all about this when it was in the incubation stage. This was Project Bibble Babble that I was telling y'all about 3 or 4 years. I think he has to change the phraseology of it. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people try not to give him credit for other reasons, but I think at the core of it is just the phraseology and the enunciation. If he changes that, it'll be a lot easier for him to just, and I would just come out and be like, see, that what they're reporting, you know, is this, that, and the other. Remember when I was telling y'all about this? We reported on this first, but we talked to you about it in this. I think if he does that, he'll see a lot more success. I appreciate when he gives us this information. It's just, again, I think I think the brick wall he's running into is it's a variant of something that comes out, you know, different enough several years later. You know what I mean? Long way to say PlayStation is taking Xbox levers and increasing market. Yeah, absolutely. And then here's the thing about it. When Phil Spencer says there's no more console gamers, that's a fucking lie. Because look at the China Joy Project. What do you think that's about? And then there's rumors, we've heard that they're trying to move into Africa. Oh my fucking God. If they were moving to Africa, come on, man. This is just insane. Totally insane. He said, we can listen to you all. I appreciate that, Lionel. I can talk all day, but I got to get out of here. I got to give my business partner these keys so he can go down there and back me up today, and I'll back him up tomorrow. Here's the MO. Again, shout out to PlayStation 5 Sweden for winning. I'm going to reach out to you, brother, get your information so I can pass it to Geek. Also, Geek, if you're still listening, let me know what it is that you want me to get from PlayStation Sweden. We're going to do this again. We're going to do this for Yotai. We're going to do this for more. We're going to do it for V Rising. Make sure you're a member. Consecutive months get you extra slots and all other stuff. So make sure you do that. Also, because of my new schedule, Tuesdays and Thursdays are my best days to do this. So NRO podcast might move to Thursdays. Stay tuned. and I'm going to be getting my new phone or my temporary phone by Thursday. So we'll let you know. With that said, I appreciate all y'all. I got to go. Thank y'all so much. Check out my videos. Make sure you change the bell to all so you don't miss any of my content. I will not inadulterate you with shit because I don't have the opportunity to create stuff all the time. But when I do create something, so you'll know. All right, with that said, appreciate all y'all. Till next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.